My people, before Europe drew lines on a map, the savannah already had a superpower. A kingdom where cavalry moved like lightning and kings shared power with fearless checkmates called Oyo Empire. This was Oyo, the thunder in Yoruba history. If you think checks and balances is a modern thing, Oyo said, "Hold my calabash." The story begins in Ife, the city of creation for the Yoruba. Onion or Anmian leaves Ife, finds fertile plains, plants a city. Names change, power grows. Oyo rises north of modern Ibadan, where horses can gallop and cavalry matters. If Onion were alive, he'd complain about modern traffic. Oyo's power ran on 3 engines: horses, trade, and institutions. Cavalry. On the open savannah, a mounted army is king. Oyo mastered mounted warfare earlier and better than many of its neighbors. They used lances, light armor, and speed like thunder striking a line and vanishing. Trade and economy. Oyo bridged forest and savannah, controlling kola, salt, horses, and eventually the sad commerce of the coast. Markets in Oyo thrummed. Cowries dictated value like stock tickers, but with more drums. Their stock exchange, a market square, and a well-timed public flogging. You missed your delivery. No refunds. Military logistics and forts. Oyo built forted towns, provincial governors, and logistics lines. Their supply chains were efficient: move horses, move lances, move tribute. Oyo didn't only fight, it thought, legislated, and ritualized power. The Alaafins sat on a throne of state, but the kingdom was kept honest. By the Oyo Empire and the Ogboni, a king could rule, but he could also be asked to step down with decorum and an empty calabash. Political structure. The Alaafin was powerful, but the Oyo Empire 7 kingmakers were the check. The Basharoon led them, if a king misruled. The ritual was to present an empty calabash or a parrot's feather, a polite but unmistakable political resign. Religion and Orisa. Sango, the thunder god, was central. Ogun, Ifa, and ancestral cults shaped court life. Priests were judges, doctors, and political advisors. Arts and material culture. Oyo is famous for brass, beadwork, and textile mastery. Bronze heads, elaborate crowns, every object carried status and memory. If your bling didn't sparkle, you probably weren't invited to court. Every empire meets its storm. Oyo's came from internal strife, rising neighbors, and the tidal forces of the Atlantic world. Internal divisions. Succession fights, powerful generals, and a Basharoon who sometimes overplayed his hand. These fissures widened. Politics turned poisonous. Threat from Dahomey and coastal powers. Dahomey professionalized warfare and launched raids. Oyo's control over vassals frayed. European guns in the wrong hands could be decisive. Ilorin revolt and northern alliances. Ilorin, once a cavalry hub, breaks away. It allies with northern Fulani forces. Oyo Isle is sacked. Capitals shift. The political order collapses. You can survive a drought, a raid, a gossip scandal, but once your military town turns traitor, that's a Monday you can't come back from. Oyo's empire may have crumbled, but the civilization endured. Yoruba culture thrived in cities: Ibadan, Abeokuta, Oshogbo. The institutions, the art, the law. These are ancestral currents still guiding millions. Festivals such as Igungan, Sango worship. Brass casting techniques, oral epics, these are living memories. The Oyo political idea. Checks on kings, still influences. Local governance and cultural pride. Scholars, local chiefs, and cultural centers are reclaiming Oyo's history, digital archives, museum repatriations, and community projects. The lesson: Oyo teaches us resilience, balanced governance, and that power without wisdom collapses. The thunder has quieted, but its echo remains. Oyo reminds us that Africa made empires, built complex law, and practiced politics that outclass many later models. If you want to understand modern West Africa, start with Oyo, the kingdom that turned horse into thunder, and Calabash into constitutional checks. We're partners on this journey. Keep your drums close and your curiosity closer. This is Ancestral Files. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. You're part of history.